And Light Bulb Sun came very quickly after Stupid Dream, and it was very much a continuation of, and possibly for me now, I think it's it was almost made too quickly after Stupid Dream. It was, it's like a weaker relative of Stupid Dream. Didn't really advance the band's sound at all. Possibly the material wasn't as strong, but it does have some Porcupine Tree evergreens, classics, if you like. Hate Song's gone on to become a great live number, and we're actually doing Russia on Ice on this current tour. And so there's some good moments on the record. But then we had a long period of time to write the next record because we were looking then for a new record deal. And it took us a couple of years to sign ultimately to Atlantic Records in America. And in the meantime, I'd written a whole bunch of songs. And not only had I written a whole bunch of songs, I'd also discovered, or I should say rediscovered, my love of metal and heavy music. And in the meantime, I'd also worked with Opeth for the first time. And I discovered this fantastic, what people now sort of think of as progressive metal, very brutal but very heavy, but also very complex and very sophisticated music. And when I was a kid, I loved metal. You know, I grew up listening to Iron Maiden, Diamond Head, and those kind of bands. So for me to rediscover metal at the age of however old I was at the time, 32 or whatever, was quite a revelation to me. And it immediately had a big impact on the band's sound. And we also brought Gavin Harrison, our current drummer, in at that time, who had a much more kind of muscular, solid, technical approach to the drumming that we hadn't had previously. So I think In Absentia was a massive, massive breakthrough for us. It suddenly took the band, I think, from being slightly, comfortable sounding to sounding a lot more edgy and a lot more contemporary. With the aspect of the metal coming in with Gavin's more contemporary style. And also those 2 years I'd had to write the songs, I think, meant it was probably the strongest set of material we'd ever had to draw on. So I think arguably that still stands as for me, the best Porcupine Tree record. Along with Fear of a Blank Planet, I think that's my other favourite, which we'll come on to. But after In Absentia, we made a kind of another record in a similar style called Deadwing. It was based more on a kind of concept in the sense I had this film script that I was trying to get made, still trying to get made, and so based a lot of the songs on that film script. The only problem with basing songs on a film script that no one else has read or seen is they don't know what you're talking about, seeing the songs. So I don't think anyone really understands what those songs are about to this day, partly because that film's never been made. Which is a slight problem. If you want to reach people and communicate, you have to understand what you're talking about. But there are some really strong songs on Deadwing and a couple of weaker ones, but not as consistent for me as In Absentia. But again, has some standout. I think Arriving Somewhere But Not Here is a very strong piece. Lazarus is probably one of the best simple songs I've ever written. And then 2007, the grand concept, Fear of a Blank Planet. For me, this is conceptually the strongest album we've ever created. In a sense, I think that I had such a strong idea for the concept and such a strong idea for the lyrics that it just feels so complete and strong as a record. Whereas I think Deadwing was very slightly fragmented, and Fear of a Blank Planet, it's just got such a strong kind of feeling that runs right through it. And I think all the material for me is strong, and lyrically it's probably the album I'm most proud of. So In Absentia and Fear of a Blank Planet, I think probably my two favourite records. And also Fear of a Blank Planet was interesting. It was the first time I'd tried to write. Actually, that's not true. Arriving Somewhere on the previous album was quite a long piece, but Fear of a Blank Planet had a 18 or 19-minute piece on it called Anaesthetize, which quickly became one of the band's most popular songs. And I think that gave me the idea then that the next record, The Incident, we could try something on an even bigger scale. and the incident then became about this 55-minute long piece of music. And I'm still really proud of the incident, the 55-minute piece, but one of the downsides of the incident for me is that it became more about the form and the structure than it did about the music. And I think now in retrospect, I feel like maybe some of the writing could have been a bit stronger. Some of the song sections could have been stronger. But that's not to say I'm not really proud of it. I think as a long piece of music, it's a successful experiment. And there are some songs within there that I think are strong. But I think if I was going to do such a long-scale piece again, I'd work a little bit harder on making some of the individual parts stand up better outside of the context of this long piece. But I mean, I do believe that it was important for the band to try and do something very different. And I think that with every record in a way, which is why for me the most disappointing records in the catalogue tend to be the ones that come in the immediate aftermath of a big, breakthrough record for us, but perhaps aren't necessarily anything too different. So, like Bob's Son after Stupid Dream or Deadwing after In Absentia. And I'm proud that The Incident was another experiment into some other realms. And I can still play it and still enjoy playing it. So that's good. So there we are. 10 albums in 17 years. It's not bad.